Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Hema Ramkissoon and welcome to the CNC3 Early Morning Show. It is a beautiful Monday morning. It is Monday, August 27th. It is the beginning of a brand new week in Trinidad and Tobago. It's also the week of independence. So much to celebrate. 50 years of independence celebrations continue. Over the weekend, the government hosted a day of prayer where they said thank you to all that we have achieved, and we're, hoping for guidance and the ability to make proper decisions as we move forward. Now, speaking about the ability to make proper decisions, as you woke this morning, I'm pretty sure that you would have heard the news that MP Colin Partap has been effectively fired from the Cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago. He held the post of Minister in the Ministry of National Security. According to reports released by the Office of the Prime Minister, a 3-line press statement that was released on Twitter as well, the minister was found guilty of some improper conduct following an investigation and incident which took place outside the Zen nightclub on Saturday night into Sunday morning. According to the reports that we received in this newsroom, the minister refused to take a breathalyzer test, was taken to the police station, after which the Commissioner of Police got involved in the matter. The decision was subsequently taken, according to the release by the Office of the Prime Minister, following reports and investigations conducted by the Ministry of National Security and statements given by Mr. Colin Partap himself. So, as we celebrate 50 years of independence, are we seeing a change in our political culture? One where public officials are actually being held accountable for their actions. Well, we've seen some bad behavior from some ministers before, and this is a turning of the tide. So kudos to the government for their ability to deal with the matter, because the public was not going to take this as we celebrate 50 years of independence. This morning, as is customary, we're going to continue to keep you on top of all that's happening in the country. We're going to be speaking to Minister of National Security Jack Warner, his thoughts on all that has happened. Also, Jamal Mohammed, the Minister of Communications, Marlene MacDonald, the MP for Port of Spain. Well, the traffic plan has been revoked. What does this mean? Minister George is saying it's not an admission of failure. Ms. MacDonald is saying that the plan was ill-timed and ill-advised. We'll also be speaking to Terence Dialsing of the PNM, and Leroy Clark and Ken Gordon should be joining us a little later as we celebrate independence. Also, AmCham will be on set, so a very packed show. And as customary, every Monday morning, we start things off with the Boss Report. And don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter at Hema_Ramkissoon. I look forward to tweeting with you. But before we go to the Boss Report, let's tell you why you should buy the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian today. MP to debate $410 million fund. That is the next matter before the cabinet. Minister given breathalyzer test. Minister Partap has been, his appointment as minister in the Ministry of National Security has been revoked. Sales of fireworks. The minister was not a member of cabinet, but he did hold the portfolio in the Ministry of National Security. Sales of fireworks skyrocket. St. James claimed traffic victory. MPs fund no ploy to win elections. That's according to Suraj Ramachan. Now, Dr. Ramachan is responding to some statements also raised in an editorial in a daily newspaper. Chung is Caribbean tennis queen. A plain talk goes there to one of the South African players. A picture there of our Olympic gold medalist. And also the applause goes to Rihanna Chung, who is the tennis champion. Let's give you something to think about while you have your morning cup of coffee with us. All great changes are preceded by chaos. I'm going to read that again. All great changes are preceded by chaos. No matter how chaotic your situation may be this morning, remember that something better may be in store for you. I'm Hema Ramkissoon, and we now go straight to the Boss Report.
An answer merchant. The market has been performing pretty well over the last couple of months. It's up between 2 to 3%, and year to date it's around 5%. This after a 21% increase last year. So the local equity market has been performing quite well, and dividend yields continue to be pretty attractive for many of the companies, ranging between 2 and 3%. So in terms of relative valuations and where you are getting better yields, it's in terms of the local equity market. As the first graph will show you, Sagicor's market to book has been very attractive. It's trading at a 0.6 time market to book compared to a 5-year average of 1 time. And our recommendation on Sagicor is a buy at this point in time over the medium term. In terms of the revenue side, the revenues have been down around 7%. The net interest income has been down around 2%, and the net premium income has been down around 9%. This as a result of a reduction in international insurance portfolio. In terms of the distribution, in terms of the dividend and benefits and claims, however, their expenses have also come down around 10%. So this has stabilized. In terms of the dividend yield, as the next graph will show you, it's around 3.5 times dividend yield, trading at a much higher clip than the 5-year average of 2.8%. So again, a very attractive dividend yield and one of the bases for our buy recommendation over the medium term. The company has been going out into the international market. As you would recall, earlier this year they disclosed they were acquiring some life insurance in the American market, and this should increase their, in terms of their revenue in the international market. They have reduced their allocation to the European market through the reduction in a couple of lines in the Lloyd operations. In the regional markets, they have been looking into the Barbados market, and they did acquire some insurance portfolios from the British American insurance operations in the Barbados market. So the company continues to look out for acquisitions throughout the region and international markets to grow its insurance portfolio and in terms of better utilization of its equity base. So our recommendation on Sagicor at this point in time is a buy over the medium to long term. Investors would recall also the shares trading at around $7.58, and this has been lowest end of the share price over the last 5-6 years since the company has listed. It's traded at the lowest at 7.25. So in terms of the share price itself, it's pretty cheap in terms of the valuation as well. The next company we look at is Anser McAl. The group has had a decent year so far. The earnings per share has come down from 164 a year ago to 140. In terms of the performance, in terms of the different segments, the one segment that has been doing well in profit before tax has been the automotive segment. And yet, year on year, the company has performed well in that segment. The other segments have suffered a bit. In terms of the manufacturing segment, due to the shortage in cement production over the last 6 months, that sector has suffered. The media sector have also suffered a bit, and the insurance sector. In terms of the revenue side for Anser McAl, the group has seen an 8% increase in revenues, but because of one-off provisionings in the first half of the year, on account of some restructuring in Barbados and provisioning in some of the Barbados financial operations, of around 50-odd million, this has impacted on their profit before tax. Operating profits are down around 11%. On a positive note, the group has been able to pay off over $700 million in debt over the last 6 months, and this has had a positive impact on the finance costs and will continue to have a positive impact going forward in the finance costs. In terms of valuation, the company is trading at around a 19-time PE valuation. If you discount the one-off valuation, one-off provisionings, it should be trading at an 18-time clip. This compares to around a 15-time clip over the 5 years. So in valuations, a little on the pricey side. The dividend yield is a 1.7%. But the company, in terms of liquidity of the stock, it continues to be very illiquid. And our recommendation on the company is a whole at this point in time. And finally, Anser Merchant Operations. The group continues to do positive performance, as the next graph will show you. The earnings per share is around 93 cents over the 6 months period, as opposed to 88 cents last year. And this is a sharp recovery from the 50-odd cents 2 years ago. The company continues to do well. The revenue line, steady increase in the revenue line, around 3 to 4%. Expenses also have increased around 3%. The profit before tax up around 7%, and profit after tax around 5-6%. The valuations a little on the higher end. It's trading at around a 16-time clip, and the average over the last 3 years, has been around a 15 times. So a slightly above average. Dividend yield is around 2%. We continue to like the stock, and our recommendation on Anser Merchant at this point in time is a hold. So just to summarize our recommendations, a buy on Sagicor, a hold on Anser Merchant, and a hold on Anser McAl. have a wonderful investment week. Please have a look at our article on page 10 of the Express, and review of this program this morning will be on our website. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful week.
You're talking to your best friend when
You're going to clean their family.
you get cash back.
Yeah, darling.
You're talking to your best friend when you realize you're always a winner. You're talking to your best friend when you get a makeover. You suddenly feel like dancing. Every dog gets its
Southern city of Doria. At least 76 people were killed in the rocket attacks.
Always get extraordinary value with Digicel. Get $1 cash back for every paid minute on local Digi-to-Digi calls made during the day, so you can talk more at night. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
Omerdeen School of Accountancy Limited is now enrolling students for September semester. We provide quality tuition for the ACCA Professional Program and the Foundation in Accountancy Program. Call us today.
Fill their world with love, it's magic. Dairy Dairy, the milky milk.
Need to fix your plumbing, shower, or bathroom? Yes, we have that too. Pipes, shower fittings, toilets, the widest range of Makita, Stanley, and all other hardware supplies at competitive prices. Visit our website or come in today at 185 Union Road, Marabella. Southern Wholesale Stores Limited. More than just a hardware.
Introducing a new concept in shopping in Trinidad. AmazingBuysTT.com. Choose from thousands of products. Check out our specials. Free online gift registry. Shop from the comfort of your home. AmazingBuysTT.com. Call us at 652-4438.
Japan Motors of Monroe Road, Charleville for quality imported roll-on roll-off cars. Subaru Impreza, Honda CR-V, Mazda 3, the new Hilux Vigo, Nissan Navara, and Ford Wildtrak. 3 years warranty and accessories. Call 672-3000 or 672-6266.
With boundless faith in our destiny and pride in our liberty, together we aspire. Together, we have achieved. Happy 50th Independence from the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, powering the nation for over 65 years.
Completed dreams bring a lifetime of happiness. Lifetime Solutions can make it all real. With windows, doors, and roofing styles, you can choose your design. Just tell us your budget and we'll find the right fit. We are innovation ahead of the game. So affordable, Lifetime Solutions. You can trust your roof to us. Lifetime Solutions.
Lifetime Solutions. You can trust your roof to us.
And there we have the Trinidad and Tobago athlete, who's the World Junior Champion.
He wears a humble aura and a temperate expression, but Keyshawn Walcott is a man of gold. Walcott is the first field athlete from Trinidad and Tobago to make the finals of an Olympic field event. His was the biggest upset at the London 2012 Games, throwing an impressive 84.58 meters, beating the world's best to become the youngest ever Olympic javelin gold medalist at age 19. He is the IAAF World Junior Champion and 3-time winner in the under-20 javelin throw at the Carifta Games with a junior record. He returned home to much tribute, bringing Olympic flowers for his mom and gold for his country. Like Hazley Crawford before him, his name would fly high and facilities would be named in his honor. Keyshawn Walcott, Toko hero, Trinidad and Tobago's legacy in sport.
Welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Hema Ramkisoon. Thanks for staying with me this morning. And don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter at Hema_Ramkisoon. Well, speaking of the world of Twitter, many of you learned of the dismissal of Colin Partab via the social media site. It was tweeted by the Office of the Prime Minister, the dismissal. According to one of the daily newspapers today, Minister in the Ministry of National Security dismissed. COP goes to the station. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar acted swiftly last night when she fired Colin Partab as Minister in the Ministry of National Security, rendering him a backbencher, the first and so far only one to be on the government's bench in the Parliament. The Prime Minister's decision was followed an investigation that is an incident that took place outside the Zen nightclub on Keith Street in Port of Spain at about 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. Joining us on the telephone this morning, the Minister of National Security, Jack Warner. Minister Warner, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Hema.
Minister, the Minister in the Ministry of National Security has been dismissed by the Prime Minister less than 24 hours after the incident occurred. What is the public to make of this?
All I could say is that the Prime Minister acted decisively, Hema, and in national interest, and I am not prepared to make any more comment than that. So what the public decides or will decide on this, I imagine, will evolve over time. I don't know what the public will make of it, but whatever they make of it, I'm quite sure will be based on what they will have perceived and based over time.
Minister, yesterday it was said, and some of the daily newspapers even today are quoting the fact that a report was being compiled to be sent to you, a report to the Minister of National Security and the Ministry of National Security. Was that report sent to you? Was an investigation done? And what did the report say?
I have the report here, but I'm not prepared to disclose the report at this time. And any event, it's a report which I discussed with the Prime Minister. I don't think it is prudent for me to disclose to you, or to the public, I should say, what are the contents of the report.
Minister, have you spoken to Mr. Partab since the incident has occurred, since the findings and also since the news went public that he has been fired?
I have spoken with him and I've explained to him the whole background of the position in which he has found himself. He understands this quite clearly, and he has and he has no one to blame himself but himself. And I think that, as far as I'm concerned, ends the matter. He understands quite clearly the whole circumstances surrounding this decision of the Prime Minister.
Are we seeing a change in the political culture of Trinidad and Tobago? Some will say that this is the first to have occurred under the People's Partnership government. Some ministers have been accused of wrongdoing in the past, but this has been dealt with quite swiftly. What has accounted for the change, or is there a change in the attitude of the People's Partnership government?
Well, I will not be able to make that judgment. It's one without to ask the Prime Minister, surely. But all I could say is that to you is that I as Minister of National Security, I support the Prime Minister's decision, and I'm not prepared at this point in time to make any further comment on the matter as such.
Minister Warner, personally, how would you take this entire affair? Mr. Partab worked very closely with you. He was a junior minister in your ministry.
Sure, I think I would miss his advice, his counsel. We work as a team, but this doesn't mean that it's the end of Mr. Partab, and I'm quite sure he will come back again to fight another day sometime. I look upon this as part of the whole experience that all of us as politicians will have to undergo from time to time.
Do you think he's fit to serve as an MP in Parliament?
But I mean, again, that's not a decision I can make. I think that first of all, his constituents are the best person to decide that. But I think that at the end of the day, I cannot see how one swallow could make a summer. If this is a decision that he took, and by this alone, he's judged to be unfit for Parliament, then something has to be wrong with the psyche of the country.
Minister Warner, thank you so much for joining us on such short notice this morning to share your thoughts on this development. Minister Jack Warner, the Minister of National Security, telling us that he is remaining quite tight-lipped on this matter, saying that he supports the Prime Minister's decision, that an investigation was conducted. He did receive a report. He's saying that the public will judge this. He also has felt a level of personal loss since Colin Partab worked closely with him, but that's how the chips fall sometimes. Joining us on the line now, the Minister of Communications of the government, the People's Partnership government, Minister Jamal Mohammed. Minister, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Morning, Hema, and good morning to your viewers.
Now, Minister, many of the people learned of the dismissal via Twitter. Is this something that we can expect more from the People's Partnership government?
Well, the means of communication, they're all open to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and the easiest way we can get official messages and documents to the people, it will be used.
Even though some have commended the Prime Minister for her swift action on this matter, Some say that it should not have happened, as in Colin Partap's conduct. Basically, there are ministers in the who have been previously accused of doing more severe things in the public court, yet he has been thrown to the wolves. Is he simply a scapegoat? How would you respond to that?
The appointment of a minister and the revocation of that appointment of any minister is the remit of the Honorable Prime Minister. And she acted according to her report that she received, and her decision was made, and that's final.
When you say that the decision was made, Minister, was it a unilateral decision? Was it a decision between the Minister of National Security and the Prime Minister, or was it a collective decision done by the entire cabinet? What was the process?
No, the Prime Minister is under no obligation to consult with anyone. I understand she received a report from the Minister of National Security, and she may have had consultations with Mr. Partap himself, and the decision was made.
Have you spoken with Minister Partap since all of this?
Not as yet.
How? And the other question now, he remains as a member of parliament.
Absolutely. He remains an elected member of parliament, the member of parliament for Kumoto Manzanilla. He remains in a parliament representing his constituents, and that does not change.
Now, many are questioning, one, his conduct. Do you think that he's fit to serve in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago?
That's a personal matter you'll have to discuss with Mr. Partap.
Minister, your thoughts on all that has transpired. Now, this has obviously been the first of its kind under the People's Partnership government. The decision was made at about 10:30 last night. The incident is reported to have occurred at 5 a.m. yesterday morning, so that is less than 24 hours.
Yeah, that's the reality of the situation. The Prime Minister took action as she saw fit, and we just have to move on.
Moving on now, this is the country celebrating 50 years of independence. Are we seeing a change in our political culture?
Well, as we come up closer to our 50th anniversary as an independent nation, a lot of things have changed in our country. We have to adjust to these changes, and we're looking forward to the actual day of our independence, which is on Friday. A number of activities have to take place during this week. On Wednesday and Thursday, especially Thursday night, there'll be a special event at Woodford Square, where there'll be a lot of cultural performers and a reenactment of what happened on the 31st of August, 1962. Then early Friday morning, we shall be at the Queen's Park Savannah for the military parade. Then later in the evening, we have the Independence Awards done by the President of the country. And then later again in the evening, there'll be a free public performance, a cultural show, the likes of which the country has never seen at the Queen's Park Oval. And we'd like to invite the entire country to come down and witness this once in a lifetime. You're 50 only once, so we have to make it special.
Minister, is this a subliminal warning that the Prime Minister has issued to the rest of her cabinet and to all under the People's Partnership government that bad behavior will no longer be tolerated?
The remit to appoint and revoke the appointment of ministers is solely in the hands of the Prime Minister. That's a lesson for all of us who are ministers and who have these appointments made by the Prime Minister.
Minister, thank you so much for joining us this morning on such short
Have a
notice.
great day.
Minister Jamal Mohammed, the Minister of Communications, explaining the process. In case you are now joining us, Minister in the Ministry of National Security, Colin Partap, has been fired. This is following an investigation into an incident which occurred outside the Zen nightclub on Keith Street in Port of Spain at about 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. The Prime Minister, or the Office of the Prime Minister, released a 3-line statement at about 10:30 last night, making the announcement. Now, according to one of the newspapers today, police sources say officers had noticed him with a bottle of alcohol in his hand before he got into the driver's seat and subsequently stopped him at the corner of Keith and Frederick Street in Port of Spain, where he was asked to take a breathalyzer test. Police say that Partap refused and was detained and taken to the Belmont police station. He made contact with his lawyer, and at that point also, according to some of the articles, we understand that senior members of the police service did get involved in it, advising him that he had to take the breathalyzer test. So that's what took place, and following an investigation into that matter, an investigation which was sent to the Prime Minister's office, an investigation that was also sent to the Minister of National Security, the decision was taken to fire Mr. Partap, who still remains a member of Parliament. I'm Hamer Ramsey. Now take a very short break. When we come back, we're going to be speaking with Marlene MacDonald, a victory for her and her constituents. That's what they're saying anyway, following the revocation of the traffic plan. Stay with us.
Seaview Optical's Grand Independence Anniversary Sale. Enjoy 50% off, 25% off all frames, including Coach, Versace, Prada, Calvin Klein, Gucci, DKNY, Oka, Dolce & Gabbana, plus 25% off all prescription lenses. We're also pleased to offer 25% off all sunglasses. Sale ends August 30th. CVU Optical, affordable eye care for everyone.
This Independence Day is special. So at Subway for the whole month of August, the treat's on us. That's right. When you buy any footlong Subway sandwich during August, we will give you a treat free. Choose from any of our decadent offerings. Cookies, muffins, brownies, even Soldanza chips. So stop by any of our 42 Subway stores for your next footlong and let us treat you. Happy Independence Day. Subway. Eat fresh.
Nigel Stutz Promotions presents Come Meet the Champs of Raw, August 30th at the Cascadia Hotel. Vladimir Kozlov, Bobby Lashley, and Carlito. Meet and greet the champs at the Cascadia Hotel. Join us at the after party at La Casa de Ibiza and come party with the champs. Get your tickets at Brands Galore, Francis Plaza, Ev's Barbershop, Coquier, Sheltec, Tuna Punan, Capital Plaza, Bless One Apparel, Alice Mall, Charlotte Street, Ibiza Trackbridge Road, or Carl's Barbershop, New City Mall. Sponsored by Cascadia Hotel.
I do. Take you as you are. Fully aware that you're not perfect, but perfect enough for me. Aspen's Promotions presents Mi Amor, the Ultra Beauty and Bridal Expo 2012 on 8th and 9th September at Creative Arts Center, San Fernando, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Expect massive giveaways. Tickets $20 available at Cake Decor, Golden Doors Photo Spain, and all branches of Caribbean Jewelers. For more information, call 310-5477. Remember, Jesus is coming. If your guests are pests, then call General Pest Control. We offer effective treatment using the latest technology against termites, rats, roaches, mosquitoes, ants, mice, pigeons, and lots more. Total eradication, guaranteed jobs, no callbacks. Get a 10% discount as an introductory offer with free estimates and inspections. Centrally located in Caroni, or call 645-4871. General Pest Control. Satisfaction guaranteed. Baker Enterprises of Trin City and Abercrombie Street has a wide selection of newly designed independent supplies and party decorations. You can also find a wide range of locally inspired polos and souvenirs. Give us a visit at 79 Abercrombie Street or Trin City. Baker Enterprises Limited, the one preferred by customers.
With all the reasons you already have to celebrate this independence, Richmond Motors has just added one more. Bring out the champagne, because now you can drive home with your very own BMW X1 or BMW 5 Series with no down payment and a whopping 6 years to repay. Plus, your BMW purchase comes with 2 years free full comprehensive insurance and 2 years warranty or unlimited mileage, whichever comes first. Now that's a real cause to celebrate. Offer valid while stocks last. Special conditions apply.
Chiropractor, failed. Massage, failed. Physiotherapy, failed. Surgery, failed. Pills, drugs, injections, failed. We succeed where others have failed. Harmonized Diffusion conquers pain. At Pain Relief and Health Management Limited, pay no money if we can't help you. Call 622-8085 or 628-8257 today for your free preview. Thousands of tests. Diffusion is the best. Trinizuela College, now registering for a wide selection of internationally recognized world-class qualifications in mechanical engineering, electrical and electronic engineering, process technology, secretarial and business studies, information technology, construction industry, electrical installation, CXC repeaters, skills proficiency awards, and more. Free tuition on gate-approved programs, registered with the Accreditation Council of TNT. Trinizuela College, celebrating 48 years of successful operations. Back to school troubles? Let us take away your worries. Shop at Keith Cann's Books, etc. in Port of Spain and San Fernando. You'll not only notice the difference in service, but the difference in your wallet. No one beats our prices. You can also email your child's book list at info@keithcannsbooksetc.com or fax 657-0468 in San Fernando or 623-1201 in Port of Spain, and we'll prepare it for collection. Keith Cann Books, etc. Your partner in education. Refresh yourself with Tea-Best Aloe Vera Drink. The magic of aloes plus all-natural flavor. Even with a high 30% aloe vera concentration, it tastes great. Feed your body some goodness. Drink Tea-Best Aloe Vera from Regal, the one with 30% aloes and only natural flavor. Distributed by Regal Products Limited.
Welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Hema Ramkisoon. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter at Hema_Ramkisoon. I look forward to tweeting with you. Well, it seems as though the Office of the Prime Minister is making full use of the social media network as they released their press statement on Twitter last night following the firing of Colin Partab. Now, shifting focus a little bit, the experimental traffic plan has been stopped. It's now reverted to the original traffic arrangements or the original rules governing the St. James Woodbrook area. Marlene MacDonald, the MP for Port of Spain South, staged a walk a couple days ago, well, that's about last week. But she was very vocal on the issue, saying that the government did not consult with the people. The business people are suffering, the commuters, the motorists, every single body stands to lose from this plan. Well, the ministry made an about turn on this matter. We're going to share with our viewers a story that was done in our newscast last night, and then we'll speak to the MP to find out her thoughts on all that has transpired.
In its statement on Saturday announcing that traffic will revert to the previous arrangements on September 3rd, the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure said that though there have been benefits, they've been outweighed by the costs. And today, this was exactly the sentiment expressed by the people in St. James, who are pleased that the plan will return to what it was before. A central reason for supporting the return is the impact that the new plan has had on pedestrians and those using public transport.
It was affecting our elderly. The elderly is who was here before us. And then the school children now. Where are they going to get a taxi to go to school? So I'm very glad that they have done this and they've changed it wrong.
Yeah, I had to help some of them to stop the traffic, to help them to cross over the road. You know, just to give them that little peace of mind to go over the road and thing. Besides that, the kids also, the children. You know, the car was just speeding. Nobody wants to stop to give another person a chance.
The plans will change back as the new school term opens. Even as business owners complained about what the last month has done to their profits, some are more concerned about the difficulties that children will face crossing the road.
The children and the elderly are more important than the business. That is the way I watch it, 100% there. Right? Because I had that feeling of a child being knocked down already. Right? One of my own children. And that is not a nice feeling.
Last week, the MP for Port of Spain South led her constituents in a march to protest the new traffic plan. Today, residents praised the MP for her leadership, saying that the protest was the main reason for the switch back. For CNC3, I'm Golda Lee Bruce.
Now, the plan will the arrangements will be reverted on September 3rd. Joining us on the line, Marlene MacDonald, MP. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, good morning, Ms. Ramkisoon. And indeed, good morning to all your viewers this morning.
Now, this is a very interesting day, interesting developments when the announcement was made by the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure that the plan will be squashed and the arrangements will be reverted to what it was on September 3rd, prior to what was put in place following this plan. Do you think that you were that catalyst for change? You were very vocal on this issue. You led a walkabout demanding that the authorities review the plans. Minister, hello.
Well, certainly, Ms. Ramkisoon, from day one, I had said to the national community that the residents and the business community in both Woodbrook and St. James, we are not opposed to change. But the plan did not take into consideration the pedestrians, the children, the business community, the elderly. And that is why we took the particular action that we did. What happened there, Ms. Ramkisoon, what this nation witnessed in St. James would have been two communities, the communities of Woodbrook and St. James, coming together for a common purpose. They were united in what they did. The plan, and I have to tell you this morning, that the plan achieved the objective of getting people from the west faster into Port of Spain. But the plan ignored the plight of the St. James and the Woodbrook residents, as well as the businesses. So, Mr. Ramkisoon, this morning, someone asked me yesterday whether I see this as a victory for myself. It was never about Marlene McDonald. I am inconsequential to all of this. It is a victory for the people, the residents, the senior citizens, the businesses. And as a member of parliament, I had a responsibility to represent the views and the concerns of my constituents.
Ms. McDonald, my final question to you this morning. The ministry has announced that it was an experimental plan and that they do intend to take a more surgical approach because changes must be made. Do you think that we've learned from the previous attempt to change these plans, and what are you expecting to happen?
Well, I would expect that when you say a more surgical approach, I hope that there would be dialogue. I hope that there will be dialogue with the cross-section of businesses and residents in the area. And this is exactly what happened on the last occasion. On the last occasion, there was insufficient dialogue. There were only 2 meetings held at the Polytechnic School where the residents were told, the business were told that this plan would be implemented. It wasn't done with a view to solicit the views and concerns of the residents. So I hope that they get it right on this occasion.
Ms. McDonald, thank you so much for joining us this morning to share your thoughts. A victory for the people, that's according to Marlene McDonald, the MP for Port of Spain South. We now take a very, very short break. When we come back, we're going to be speaking to Terence Dialsing, an opposition senator, the PNM and Independents. Stay with us.
You're talking to your best friend when you get cash back. You're talking to your best friend when you realize you're always a winner. You're talking to your best friend when you get a makeover. You suddenly feel like dancing. Every dog gets its day. You have your cake and eat it too. Night falls. You're talking to your best friend. Whatever else happens, always get extraordinary value with Digicel. Get $1 cash back for every paid minute on local Digi-to-Digi calls made during the day, so you can talk more at night. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
Feel the rhythm with Casey Candy Sweet Pan. This selected package filled with delightful Casey candies. Experience this sweet mint sensation for generations. Our souvenir of Trinidad and Tobago. So take home a Sweet Pan today. Casey Candy, we do make every moment sweeter. Call 636-2360 to place your orders now.
With all the reasons you already have to celebrate this independence, Richmond Motors has just added one more. Bring out the champagne, because now you can drive home with your very own BMW X1 or BMW 5 Series with no down payment and a whopping 6 years to repay. Plus, your BMW purchase comes with 2 years free full comprehensive insurance and 2 years warranty or unlimited mileage, whichever comes first. Now that's a real cause to celebrate. Offer valid while stocks last. Special conditions apply.
Seaview Optical's Grand Independence Anniversary Sale. Enjoy 50% off, 25% off all frames, including Coach, Versace, Prada, Calvin Klein, Gucci, DKNY, Oka, Dolce & Gabbana, plus 25% off all prescription lenses. We're also pleased to offer 25% off all sunglasses. Sale ends August 30th. Seaview Optical, affordable eye care for everyone.
We are touched by your smiles and your friendships, by your appreciation of the past, and your ability to see the future. We're motivated by your drive and your willingness to try new things. We are fascinated that even though you are so very different, you still see yourself as so very much the same. We are energized by how hard you work and your ability to have a good time, by your pride and your passion. We are moved by your every new beginning and wonderful end. Every day we're inspired by your likes and your lives, and we'll continue to challenge ourselves to remain a big part of them both. Bermudez, the biscuits we love.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. Get a feeling that I never had before. Don't know, I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes.
Surf, stream, share faster than ever before on Digicel's super fast 4G network. It's summer in 4G. Get your smartphone with a smart plan on the smartest network in TNT. Sign up for our newest postpaid smart plans now. Plus, for a limited time, get 1 month subscription free and 4G smartphones for $199. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
This really one bank, it can depend on friendly service every day. It's really one standard of treating you like you deserve to be. Yeah, Republic gives only the best to you. We get personal attention, so explain for your inspection.
Welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Hema Ramkissoon. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at Hema_Ramkissoon. Everyone seems to be on the Twitter bandwagon, including the Office of the Prime Minister that chose to make the announcement also last night on the social media site. They tweeted that Colin Partab was fired and gave the 3-line press statement. Joining us on set now, it's interesting. 50 years of independence, the People's National Movement and the history of the People's National Movement is intricately linked to the development of this country. The founder of the party, the first Prime Minister, first political leader really, was Dr. Eric Williams. The PNM is also holding a number of celebrations as we as a nation celebrate 50 years of independence. Joining us on set, Senator Terrence Dale Singh. Senator, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Now, you're on set on a very interesting day. Today, we get up to the news that one of the ministers in the People's Partnership government has been fired. The minister in the Ministry of National Security for bad behavior. After 50 years, are we finally seeing a culture where public officials are being held accountable?
I hope so, but it speaks to a greater disease within the government where behaviors that we should not have or really should not be displayed on the 50th year anniversary. I'm glad that the Prime Minister has acted swiftly, but this is just the tip of the iceberg concerning behavior of ministers in private. So it's not really a culture, it's a regression to a type of culture which is shameful, the way ministers behave.
Are we talking about specifically the People's Partnership ministers, or can we say that for the entire Parliament?
I think specifically because many ministers don't have the correct decorum conducting themselves in public with regards to the type of company that they keep or the type of drinks that they imbibe and the quantities that they imbibe in. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, and let's just hope, for heaven's sake, that the Honourable Prime Minister acts swiftly if this happens again.
Now, Senator, you're here to discuss the People's National Movement, the events the party intends to hold to celebrate 50 years of independence. Let's talk a little bit about that. What does independence mean to you and to the People's National Movement?
The People's National Movement, as you know, literally brought independence to Trinidad and Tobago in 1962. And let me say one time that, contrary to what people may have thought or said over the years, the fight for independence was not really a fight with the British. As we all know, the British wanted to give up their colonies. We were no longer economically viable. But the fight for independence had to do more with a fight with the DLP at that time. There were factions within the DLP who did not want independence. And this is well brought out in a couple of books. The Musings of Reginald Maulding, who was the colonial secretary at the time, spoke about the difficulty in the discussions between Dr. Rudranath Kapildev and Dr. Eric Williams. It was also chronicled by former DLP member, Mr. Lionel Sukaran, in his book, Mr. Speaker Sir. So yes, independence means an ability to manage your own affairs, and that is encapsulated in the trappings of independence, our own flag, our control over our defense force, and so on. But those are the trappings of independence. What independence really means is that a small country like ourselves can now chart our way forward in the new order that was 1962.
Some are questioning why have a separate celebration? Why not be part of the national celebrations of which the government is leading the charge?
Well, back in May of this year, but let's go back. We were celebrating the centenary of the birth of Dr. Williams, and we had approached the government in a spirit of cooperation for a program of activities to recognize Dr. Williams, to recognize the contribution he has made. Dr. Keith Rowley actually had a motion of parliament to that effect. The government has steadfastly refused to honor Dr. Williams in a meaningful way. So that is one of the reasons. The second reason is when we saw that the government was not putting forward a proper plan to celebrate 50 years of independence, and this is not the PNM's view. Many people in the media, ordinary citizens, are appalled at the way these independence celebrations have been going.
Specifically, what is your issue with the independence celebrations?
I will just give you one instance to show how the independence celebration has been corrupted, and that is the inclusion of the color yellow in our national colors. And I'm speaking specifically to that abomination that is going on at the fire services, where you have the red, white, and yellow in the form of a rising sun. We have pennants celebrating independence, and the bottom color on the pennants in the form of a V is what color, Hema? Yellow. Is that what we are celebrating, where the distinction between party and state is so blurred that they will corrupt the national colors with the inclusion of yellow? We will be no part of that. And we announced since in May 2012 that given the fact that the government had abdicated its role to roll out a proper independence celebration schedule, since May 2012 we indicated we will have our own flag ceremony. And what did the government do, Hema? They followed suit, copied the idea. So that is why we have to have our separate celebrations. Quite simple.
Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the activities that you're having.
Okay. The first activity, or the major activity, and I have an invitation here for you. We start on Thursday night. We congregate, well, Woodford Square and environs has been taken over by the government, which is their right. So we will congregate on the corner of St. Vincent Street and Sackville Street outside the old police fire station. We congregate there at 8 p.m. on Thursday night. Then we start a candlelight walk up to Balizé House. That walk should start by around 9 p.m. We hope to reach Balizé House by around 10 p.m., where we will have our own solemn, simple, dignified celebration, where we lower the Union Jack, raise our national colors, and we will reenact what took place at that night 50 years ago. With the speech by Dr. Williams, we will have people playing the parts of the key people like the Queen's representative that night, and so on. So we will have our own dignified, solemn ceremony on that night. So we congregate, as I said, 8 p.m., corner Sackville Street, St. Vincent Street, on the western side of the Red House. Our walk starts at 9 p.m. up to Balizé House. And for that, Hema, I would like to present you with your official invitation.
Why, thank you.
Our procession to Balizé House, our cultural program, and I will give you an extra one for your better half.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Now, looking at the plans forward for the People's National Movement, the party, many have stated, won since the 2010 elections. We're now celebrating independence. Of this party is intricately linked to the development of our nation. It's woven into the fabric that is independence and where we are today. But revamping the image of the People's National Movement, making it relevant to society today, following the 2010 defeat, many have stated that the party has lost its footing on the national landscape. How would you respond to that?
That is a valid criticism. I mean, anybody looking on at the activities since May 2010, that's a valid comment to make. What I can tell you as a parliamentarian and somebody involved in the re-engineering of the party, we have been doing a lot of work, re-engineering, recommitting over the past 2.5 years. That work goes on, and it is beginning to bear a lot of fruit. I can tell you more and more people are coming back to the PNM on a daily basis, from grassroots to professionals to middle-income people, men, women, all different colors, stripes, and so on. So the work goes on. What has been occupying the minds of the PNM in this re-engineering process is getting all of the organs of the party back in sync with the founding principles of the party, morality in public affairs, and what that means. And
is the PNM in a position to address the issue of morality?
Of course we are. Look, any organization with our age, you are going to have individuals over the years who would have abused their positions. I am not going to stand here and say that the PNM over the years has been lily white. But when you compare all the good that we have done versus the transgressions that one or two members may have committed, the balance sheet is irrevocably in the positive. So yes, we can speak about it. We have the morality to speak about morality in public affairs. And the PNM under Dr. Keith Rowley has that morality because he took a stand against his own party in the parliament.
Now, looking at the celebrations, a couple of the issues that you identified is the government's use of the color yellow on national symbols or the use on national buildings, but also you've pointed out an inability to effectively recognize Eric Williams and his contribution. Looking at the PNM celebration, do you see it as being one that is Eric Williams-centric, or how will you ensure that balance, that it doesn't go from one extreme to the other?
We have celebrated Dr. Williams over the past year. The independence celebration is Trinidad and Tobago-centric, not Eric Williams-centric. The celebrations that took place over the past year, starting in Balizé House with a display of all the paraphernalia, we have had the lectures on Dr. Williams. That was Dr. Eric Williams-centric. I will guarantee you that Thursday is going to be Trinidad and Tobago-centric. But in that centric activity, you cannot deny the role that Dr. Eric Williams would have played. So he will be a part of it.
When Eric Williams first drafted, or they were part of the drafting of the first constitution, they envisioned a land of equality, unity, where we all move forward. 50 years on, do you think that we're any closer to that dream?
I think as countries mature and countries progress, and this isn't unique to Trinidad, there will always be gains, and some of those gains will be offset by declines or retreats. It is good to have the ideal and to work towards that ideal. I don't think we have achieved everything that we set out to achieve 50 years ago. No country has. No country has. But we have made great, great strides in taking a small country like ours, as a very small country, which is difficult to manage. And let's not lose sight of the fact that Lloyd Best said it well, where we have 9 tribes in Trinidad, and any political party trying to manage this small, complex society, because our complexity is based on our ethnic composition, our religious composition, our racial composition. We have made great, great strides.
Making great strides by holding separate celebrations. Some can say that we're continuing a culture of divisiveness.
No, I disagree in that we had approached the government as a party to work with us. The government has steadfastly refused to work with us on this. And if that is the case, then we will honor our country as we see fit.
We have just about a minute to wrap this interview, Senator. Your closing comments. We are celebrating 50 years. This is Independence Week in Trinidad and Tobago. What would you like the nation to?
To keep on, each citizen in Trinidad and Tobago has to do their part in nation building, whether it's being a productive citizen, whether it's being a good parent to keep your children out of trouble. We all have a role to play, big and small, medium, small, large, businessman, taxi driver. Let's just keep on being productive, honest, law-abiding citizens.
Honest, productive, law-abiding citizens. These words are echoed by Senator Terrence Dial Singh the day that we get up to learn that a government minister in the Ministry of National Security has been fired for bad behavior outside a nightclub. I'm Hema Ramsey. Now go straight to the 7 a.m. newscast. Ria Rambley is with us this morning. Good morning, Ria. And when we come back, we'll be speaking to officials from AmCham. Don't forget a little later, Leroy Clark and Ken Gordon, 50 years of independence. Where are we now? Stay with us.
Good morning, I'm Ria Rambley and this is Headline News on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. Colin Partup has been fired as Minister in the Ministry of National Security. The minister's appointment was revoked late last night after the minister reportedly refused a breathalyzer test after leaving a nightclub on Sunday morning. In a statement, Prime Minister Kamla Persaud-Bissessar said she advised His Excellency President George Maxwell Richards to revoke the appointment with immediate effect. The Prime Minister admits the decision was made subsequent to reports received from the Ministry of National Security and Mr. Colin Partup. It has been reported that Mr. Partup was exiting the Zen nightclub when police asked him to take a breathalyzer test, to which he reportedly refused. He was taken into custody, where he allegedly continued to refuse to take the breathalyzer test. It was only after Acting Commissioner of Police Stephen Williams made his way to the police station Mr. Partup agreed. According to officers, by then, Mr. Partup's alcohol reading was just below the acceptable level. In other news, at yesterday's National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving hosted at the Atto Boland Stadium in Couva, the Prime Minister made a call for the nation to remember three men in particular.
It is here that I would like you and ask of you all to pray for former Prime Minister and President Arthur Robinson, former Prime Minister Patrick Manning, and Justice Wendell Kangaroo, each of whom remain unwell at this time. We pray for their strength and their recovery. They have all served their nation well.
And President George Maxwell Richards, who delivered the feature address at yesterday's Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving, expressed hope that it was not just an outward demonstration of faith for only those gathered in the stadium.
It is my hope that the manifestations of thanksgiving are not confined to the few hours that are spent in this particular location, lest we miss the mark.
The interreligious ceremony involved representatives from almost every denomination in this country, but the president says while religion is important, it's about more than that.
Religion is not the answer, but rather the relationship with God, which influences our relationships with one another.
Stay tuned for another news update at the top of the hour and our major newscast at 7 this evening right here on CNC3.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. Get a feeling that I never had before. Don't know, I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes.
Surf, stream, share faster than ever before on Digicel's super-fast 4G network. It's summer in 4G. Get your smartphone with a smart plan on the smartest network in TNT. Sign up for our newest postpaid smart plans now. Plus, for a limited time, get 1 month subscription free and 4G smartphones for $199. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
Superb Caterers. The name says it all. We are TNT's #1 choice for catering of all events, serving TNT for almost 20 years. We cater events from 10 to 4,000 persons and guarantee prompt, reliable, friendly and efficient service, whatever the time, place or event. Call 653-1896. That's 653-1896. Superb Caterers. We are superb. Still trying to decide between going shopping or going to the beach? Why not both? Shop online and ship with Aeropost. Shop online from anywhere you want and get to enjoy a sunny day at the beach and amazing mid-year sales from the best USA stores. Sign up today and start shipping your purchases to your Miami Aeropost address and receive your goodies easily, safely, and hassle-free. Visit one of our counters or online at www.aeropost.com/POS. Aeropost. Online shopping made easy.
Young Touch Promotions presents Come Meet the Champs of Raw, August 30th at the Cascadia Hotel. Vladimir Kozlov, Bobby Lashley, and Carlito. Meet and greet the champs at the Cascadia Hotel. Join us at the after party at La Casa de Ibiza and come party with the champs. Get your tickets at Brands Galore, Francis Plaza, Nev's Barbershop, Coquier, Sheltec, Tuna Puna, Capital Plaza, Bless One Apparel, Ali's Mall, Charlotte Street, Ibiza Trackbridge Road, or Carl's Barbershop, New City Mall. Sponsored by Cascadia Hotel.
Here's what you'll enjoy when you visit the new Roop Narayan showroom, corner Front Street and Wrightson Road, Port of Spain. Quality, unique design and selection in kitchen cabinets, bathrooms, closets, doors, tiles and patio furniture. The Roop Narayan showroom. Call us today, 624-7667.
It's healthy and brand new, straight from Ramsarans to you. It's the pasteurized, 3-constituted milk from Ramsarans. It's nut and GM-free, vegetarian and it's gluten-free. A healthy choice for you and me. Thank you, Ramsarans. It's the brand new reconstituted man from Ramsarans. Ramsarans Dairy Products, your healthy choice.
Trinizuela College offering 10 weeks practical training in multi-skilled programs such as air conditioning and refrigeration, welding, fabrication and pipework, electrical installation, secretarial training, motor vehicle engineering, food preparation and culinary arts, PC repairs and maintenance, basic electronics, web page and graphic designs and more. Receive internationally recognized world-class qualifications. Trinizuela College, celebrating 48 years of successful operations.
You got to move, 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 move. We like to move, 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 move. All bodies young and old. 7 Seas put you back in the groove. Make your move right. John Deere from 7 Seas. Moving nice and easy from your hip to your knee. Move your body with John Deere whenever you please. You got to move, 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 move. We like to move, 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 move.
Put the move back into your groove with 7 Seas Joint Care, the only supplement with Glucomega for healthy, supple joints.
Move! Register now for AmCham TNT's 16th annual HSSE Conference and Exhibition, September 26 and 27. Be part of this informative experience as we explore the theme HSSE Excellence, Pathway to Sustainable Development, with featured speaker Robert F. Kennedy Jr., visionary environmental business leader and advocate. For details, call 622-4466 or 628-2508, extension 225, or visit www.amchamtt.com. That's www.amchamtt.com.
Welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Hema Ramsden. Thanks so much for staying with us. And don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter at Hema_Ramke. Soon I look forward to tweeting with you. In case you're just joining us, this morning we spoke to the Minister of National Security and also the Minister of Communications. Last night at about 10:30 p.m., the Office of the Prime Minister released a 3-line statement stating that the Minister and the Minister of National Security, Colin Partup, well, his appointment has been revoked. This is following an investigation which Mr. Warner has stated that they did receive a report and an investigation was conducted. The facts surrounding this is as followed. At about 5 a.m., the minister, then Colin Partab, was asked by police officers to take a breathalyzer test. All of this occurred outside the Zen nightclub on Keith Street in Port of Spain. The minister at that time refused. He was then taken to a police station, after which the police commissioner got involved in the matter and indicated that he must abide by the wishes of the law enforcement officers. A number of investigations then followed, and within 24 hours, an investigation, a report was sent to the Prime Minister's office, and the Prime Minister has made the decision to revoke the appointment following all the facts that came before her. So we will have more on that story in our newscast. This morning we spoke to the Minister of National Security and also the Minister of Communications on that matter. Shifting focus for a little bit, and don't forget, in a little while, we're going to have on set with us Ken Gordon and Leroy Clark. 50 years of independence. What does it mean to Trinidad and Tobago? AmCham is hosting their 16th annual Health and Safety and Environment Conference. Joining us on set now, Hugh Howard, the president of AmCham, and also Fazad Mohammed, the general manager of communications and external relations at Asco Metal. You know, I have to get accustomed to that name. It was so purposely Metal. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, this is the 16th annual event. Obviously, it's been changing. The speakers have been changing. The focus of the conference has been changing. Mr. Howard, what can we look forward to in the 16th annual edition of this event?
Well, what we can look forward to certainly is an intensification of the efforts of AmCham to ensure that health, safety, security, and environmental issues become frontal in the minds of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, so that it becomes a way of life and we avoid quite a lot of these accidents which we have been having over the years.
Avoid all of the accidents. Now, Fazad, you're part of the energy industry and some of the major heavy industry in Trinidad and Tobago. Health and safety and environment. Initially it was health and safety, now it's health, safety and environment. Do you think everyone has gotten on board health, safety and environment?
I think we're getting there. There's a lot of work that's still to be done, and as a corporate entity, we've seen tremendous strides across the entire energy sector, and most of the sector that we're involved in, which is heavy manufacturing. And to me, there is value added over the years, and we've seen a drastic change with regards to the culture of the organizations that, you know, would have actually embraced health, safety, and environmental practices, health, safety, environmental theory, health, safety, environmental, you know, best practices throughout their operations. And the work that the American Chamber has been doing has been instrumental as well in supporting this initiative and this thrust towards re-education and a change in the culture of the organizations.
Re-education and making sure that everyone is on board. Mr. Howard, you're bringing down an international speaker. His name is synonymous with excellence. Every year that someone new is featured. Why is this man so special?
Well, you know, I believe most of us have been exposed to a lot of the work that is being done by Robert Kennedy Jr., particularly in terms of the environment. And environmental issues have now become very, very important in terms of people recognizing that if you're talking about sustainable development, you must ensure that what you do today will not jeopardize future generations' existence.
Now, Robert Kennedy is known internationally for having a vision of economic revitalization and, you know, starting with a number of projects throughout the U.S. Mr. Mohammed, how is this conference different to any other? Some will say that, okay, I attended the conference last year. I attended similar conferences. How is this different? What will I get out of coming to this?
What I could say is that for the 3 years that we've been involved with the sponsorship of the conference, we've seen marked differences each year. Each year, there's a new and innovative spin on what offerings, you know, corporate entities can get from this. And this year, I think, with the introduction of this piece on e-business, sorry, not e-business, environmental business, and how you can be a little more responsible and sustainable, this is a marked change in what I would have seen over the past couple of years, whereas you would have focused strictly on health and safety practices. This now shows that, you know, there is a certain degree of investments that companies are looking for with regards to environmental protection. And exactly how do we make this sustainable? this is the critical piece of information that we need to get across to our businesses and to make informed decisions.
Now, most times when you see health, safety and environmental issues or health, safety and environment policy, while the law does dictate that most businesses adhere to certain policies, getting your business fully 100% compliant, some will say it's the nature of big business or medium businesses and that they cannot afford to fully equip their business. And to the small man, what would you tell them?
Well, this is one of the reasons why we have these conferences, because the participants at the conference comprise large companies, medium-sized, small companies. So they have the opportunity, because of the sharing of information, the holding of the hand of the smaller organization, so that they are now exposed to developing technologies, to best practices. And at times, what we do find is the willingness of the larger organizations to provide assistance without cost to the smaller ones.
How does that exactly occur? Do you find a lot of businesses partnering in real life, Mr. Mohammed?
Yes, you do. And it's been more so I've been most impressed by the outpouring of support that the conference has been getting. And I think it's a responsible thing to do as an organization, not only because it's a good business investment, but it shows to a certain degree that you care about the employees that you actually have within your employee. For me, it speaks volumes when you could actually say, okay then, and you're making an investment towards protecting the life of a valued employee that you might have within your organization. And what I would like to see happen now is that a lot more companies get involved in this, because it not only speaks to health and safety in the office or in the workplace, but it translates to every facet of your life.
Every facet of your life. Now, obviously, our industry is changing. The way we implement or the way that we conduct our business affairs is also changing. Processes change. But sometimes the policies that are implemented in several businesses are quite outdated. Some can say that my business started over a decade ago and I have it in place. Even the inspectors by the government may also be a little outdated.
Yeah, that's the reason why we have to have engagement across the board in conferences like this. And AmCham has been instrumental in providing the avenue through which this can be, effected. And like I've said, I've been part of the conference for the past 3 years, and you see tremendous opportunities to learn from best practices, as Hugh would have mentioned earlier on.
Now, public sector involvement in this, some would look at the initiative and say it's okay, it's being led by AmCham, so it's a private sector-led initiative. But getting the public sector involved, which basically is a huge chunk of our population.
Yes, well, I am happy to say that in terms of the public sector, we look at the Ministry of Labor, for example, and as you know, the minister there now has come out of the private sector as a trade union leader and employee of an oil company. So they are very much sensitized to the need for best practices in health, safety, security, and the environment.
Now, we just have about a minute till we wrap this interview. Quickly, Robert Kennedy is coming to Trinidad and Tobago. The AmCham 16th Annual Health, Safety and Environment Conference. Mr. Mohammed, your closing comments, Trinidad and Tobago.
I would like to see a lot more support come in from the corporate sector, specifically in having their employees enrolled in this conference, because it adds tremendous value to your operation. It adds tremendous value to the lives of your employees. And I would like to see every facet of health, safety, and security be transferred throughout the lives of individuals across Trinidad and Tobago.
Ms. Howard, your closing comments.
Well, I would like the whole of Trinidad and Tobago to recognize that health, safety, security, and the environment, that those issues are not limited to industry or to government, but it transcends the whole community. Because even in one's homes, one has to be very, very conscious of those issues.
Being very conscious of those issues. We will have more interviews on this matter as the conference approaches. I'm Hema Ramsey. Now take a very short break. When we come back, Ken Gordon and Leroy Clark, 2 citizens in Trinidad and Tobago that have seen our nation develop. The ups, the downs, the highs and the lows. Where are we now? 50 years of independence. Today we officially start our Independence series celebrating 50 years. And our first 2 guests, Leroy Clark and Ken Gordon. Stay with us.
leaving here and we real hungry. Food? Hey fellas, so food ready?
Hand Jack.
But like my baby spent whole day cooking, now that's a table to be proud of.
Well, only the best for my baby. Rainbow corned beef, darling. Rainbow corned beef.
As we commemorate our 50th Jubilee Independence, Skyline Freight is proud to celebrate this momentous occasion with all of Trinidad and Tobago. Happy 50th anniversary, and may God bless our nation.
It's our mission. This is our vision. Making it happen. Making it happen. We're making a difference. Here and now, across the land, Trinidad and Tobago. Open your eyes and realize there's so much waiting for you.
Republic Bank Limited, in collaboration with TNT Blind Welfare Association, present Vision Caravan from May to September 2012 throughout rural Trinidad and Tobago. Come have your eyes tested and experience a new vision. See press for details.
Open your eyes, become aware, make use of what's here for you. Be part of the vision now.
In celebration of Republic Bank's 175th anniversary, Vision Caravan.
We are touched by your smiles and your friendships, by your appreciation of the past and your ability to see the future. We're motivated by your drive and your willingness to try new things. We are fascinated that even though you are so very different, you still see yourself as so very much the same. We are energized by how hard you work and your ability to have a good time, by your pride and your passion. We are moved by your every new beginning and wonderful end. Every day we're inspired by your likes and your lives, and we'll continue to challenge ourselves to remain a big part of them both. Bermudez, biscuits we love.
SRI Construction Limited presents Active Yard Solutions for busy backyards with no maintenance, quick installation, lifetime warranty, railings of beauty and sophistication, affordability, privacy, strength and security. Beauty from all angles. We are the proud suppliers of Active Yard and wire wall, high security fencing, located at 22 Cotton Hill, St. Clair. Give us a call at 622-2155 or check us online, srigroup.tt.com. SRI means quality and security.
Come to Unique Books and Sports Center. We've got all your new school books for both primary and secondary schools at the lowest prices. Save money with our instant cashback when you bring your used secondary school books. We have a wide selection of book bags, stationery supplies, uniforms, and many in-store specials. Get 33 and 30% off all school shoes. Shop now and receive our exclusive 50-year commemorative pin absolutely free. Be sure to visit Unique Books and Sports Center now, with convenient branches located at Port of Spain, San Fernando, Chaguanas, and Pinal.
Moms may not always agree on what to save their families, but one thing they agree on is when it comes to cheddar cheese for their macaroni pies, cheese dips, or sandwiches for school, nothing compares to Anchor Cheddar Cheese. Anchor Cheddar is made from the milk of New Zealand cows, is hormone-free, and has been making good Caribbean meals great for over 40 years. That's quality that has stood the test of time. With Anchor Cheddar, you've got great taste.
2009, I will never forget that year. What we have accomplished as a very small nation is very inspiring. We gave the best for our team, for our country, and for our people. You know, this is one way of identifying a Trinbagonian, and cricket has definitely done that for us. What are you proud about? Tell us by tweeting on Twitter to #I4TNT.
Where there's love for country, there's energy. Where there's energy, there's BPTT.
Welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Hema Ramkissoon. Thank you so much for staying with us. And today, we're officially starting to look at independence on the early morning show, 50 years of independence. As you may have seen on CNC3, we have a number of profiles that have been running over the last month. 50 most influential people or persons in Trinidad and Tobago. Making the list, Ken Gordon and Leroy Clark. Now, Leroy Clark staged his first one-man exhibition, A Labor of Love, when he was only 27 years old. Clark has showed his work around the world, participating in a number of exhibits. 2 years later, at one time in 2005, he has been made an honorary fellow of the University of Trinidad and Tobago. Leroy Clark is one of only 2 artists, other than sculptor Dr. Ralph Barney, who has been named Master Artist by the National Museum and Art Gallery of Trinidad and Tobago. The honor was granted in 1998. Also on that list, Kenneth Gordon. Ken Gordon is a businessman and a media mogul. Gordon began working at Radio Trinidad as a broadcast journalist in 1948. He would then become the first local to be promoted to the position of program director. His CV is quite long, but I'm going to just highlight a few things. As chairman and CEO of then CCN, Gordon played a key role in establishing an indigenous privately owned media house in the region. He co-founded the national newspaper in Barbados, the Starbrook News in Guyana, and the Observer in Jamaica, and the Tobago News. Gordon received the Inter-American Press Association Award in 1993, and a number of other awards followed, and also the UE Legacy Award in 2002. In 1997, the Media Association of Trinidad and Tobago Award. He has been inducted into the Caribbean Broadcasting Union and is Trinidad and Tobago Industry and Commerce. He is also a member of the Hall of Fame. He has an honorary doctorate from the University of Trinidad and Tobago and was awarded the Chaconia Medal in 2007. Both gentlemen have contributed significantly to the national landscape of Trinidad and Tobago. And as we celebrate 50 years of independence, they both have been identified as 2 of the most influential people that have shaped our country, our society, and where we are today. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. My pleasure.
Now, the CVs are long, the resumes are quite detailed. Mr. Clark, maybe we can start with you. You have been named one of the most 50 influential people in Trinidad and Tobago. As we celebrate 50 years of independence, what does that title mean to you?
Very little. Very little, because for one thing, I think misused, if used at all. I take such things seriously. And most of the things I do them from a volunteering kind of situation. It is not that I'm called by the official leadership of the country to do it. So it always appears as if I'm outside of something. I feel very often a sense of absence. For example, somebody asked me, what is happening for independence? And I'm tempted to say, what independence? Because something is wrong with the fabric of our space that cannot understand really the importance of the gifts that we have. Personally, I think I'm a gift. Personally, I think I'm very special. God has bestowed that on me and has bestowed me on the country, if we may. And something is wrong about idiosyncrasies, which I think are quite weak and cannot understand that we need to go beyond biases and so on. We should only have one bias, and the bias should be to the principle. And perhaps we cannot identify a principle, which would stand like a sort of obelisk for our development, something from which we could evolve and around which we can revolve. And because of that, we have become, to use a vulgar term that is used now, for food. Nothing could be more ridiculous to be describing Trinidad's attitude to duty and reward. So one wants to get out of that. One almost wants to start a new country somewhere, and this is how I feel. I don't think that we are closer to understanding what independence is 50 years ago.
Harsh criticism as we celebrate our 50th birthday.
It has to be.
Mr. Gordon, you're also being honored as one of the 50 most influential persons in this country. Do you share?
Thank you, Guardian, for honoring me.
Mr. Clark has given some harsh words to where we are, the eater food culture. One, your thoughts on being on this list, and two, do you share his sentiments?
I share many of the things he has said, but I also think, like Mr. Clark, that I've been very fortunate. You make it sound as though I've been working very hard all my life. But the truth is I've seldom worked because it's all been fun. I've loved what I've had to do. Everything that I've done because, first of all, I thought it was necessary to try to do it. But even more importantly, I enjoyed doing it. And I think this is the perspective one should take in viewing situations. They may not have worked out the way you would have liked them to have worked out. But if in the end you're doing what you think is the right thing to do and you're enjoying it and you're seeing some sort of result from it, I think this is really as much as we can ask for.
As much as we can ask for. Mr. Clark, artists, painters, those in the cultural realm, what do you think that they have done for the development of our country? Have they done enough?
For one thing, we have killed Pat Bishop. We killed that Pan Ranger. Well, we're killing Bugsy Sharp. We have not really understood the importance, the signification of the work of art in the building of a society.
When you say kill, some will wonder, that's a little harsh.
Well, I'm a harsh person, and I earn the right because I'm gifted as an artist. You know, the life of an artist is very harsh. Don't forget, the artist is given to go ahead of his space, to bring back things. You know, and I always remember a man saying, "So Leroy, man, you're still drawing and thing?" You know, and this is because he got a second grade and I got a third, and that I could draw and he cannot draw. And we still have that mentality up to now. We have no idea of what the meaning of drawing is. We cannot even move it from just the pen or the pencil on paper to take drawing to mean to draw out, for example, to draw out a people from darkness, to draw things into being. I mean, artists like Pat Bishop and Peter Minshall and a few others, we understand those things. And we are never put in a position, we are never allowed. You know, not that we want to be allowed, and that's part of the tragedy. I don't want to be allowed. I simply stake a claim. And I want to say to my friend here, who I really honor very highly, I love what I do. I really love what I do. Whether there's a space when people loving themselves so that they can love what other people do.
Loving themselves so we can love what other people do. 50, when you turn 50, most people say it's the age of wisdom, the age of reflection. If we had to look, taking politics, economics out of it, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, after 50 years of independence, where are we?
Well, I think we happen to be an extraordinarily gifted people. I think we've been very fortunate in terms of the economic strides we've made. I do not think we have come close to achieving the potential that is there for the country. And this is perhaps our biggest fault. There's so much more that Trinidad and Tobago can have achieved.
And who's hindering that?
Sorry?
What is hindering that progress?
I think politics, in one word. Not initially, it wasn't aimless. Initially, perhaps it was necessary. But the dependency climate has enveloped this country, which makes it very difficult to achieve effective production. We are not productive, I shouldn't say people, because the potential is there, but we do not achieve anything like the productive result we should. And this is a pity, and I think it's because we've lacked motivation. It's because everything has been reduced to the political dimension so often. We've come out of a culture that has dominated the country for many, many years. And in some ways, when we've seen a change, that in a sense is almost being perpetuated, rather than a change that takes you away from that dependency. The change I would have liked to have seen is directing us towards a productive result, letting people take accountability for themselves, and showing them how they should do this and rewarding them when they do it. Instead of which we're feeding that insatiable desire for more.
And
I would not describe it as
the eater food,
but I think it is one of the most apt descriptions you can find.
The eater food mentality now, and we're tying it into the political culture and the political system that continues in this country. If we had to look at identifying what is hindering our progress, you say politics in one word. How do we then change that?
Well, very crudely, you might say, change the politicians. But then where do you go? Because this is what we've been spewing in the country, that attitude. And I think because the individuals who are politicians are bright people. And I think so often they tend to be driven by power and the trappings of power and how they have seen others win power, and therefore so often how they follow that. We need to take the big road. We've always found it very difficult. People found it very difficult to say, I'm sorry, I apologize. But if you're sorry and you apologize, go ahead and say it. That doesn't mean that you're going to repeat the same thing. You're going to work on it. But our problem, to a large extent, has been that our standards, instead of lifting, our standards have fallen.
Our standards have fallen. Ms. Clark, you're nodding your head. You know, there's a saying that absolute power corrupts absolutely. Now there's a new trend of thought that only the corrupted are attracted to power. Your thoughts on where we are now, and how do we change that?
Well, again, I have to wish that I was as sober as my noble friend here. But my dear lady, I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired because, for one, I really don't think that politics is a bad thing. But we have not been able to attract the good that is politics. You know, people have not meditated on the phenomenon and understand that politics really is about humanity, you know, and rather than that, take on the tendrils of greed and power grabbing. It is more, that is not real power. Real power resides in the humanness, in humanity. And it seems to me that we have built a political culture that has very little to do with humanity except to exploit it. So there is no art in, one might say, in politics.
No art in politics. I'm going to pose this question to both of you. If you were in power right now, what would you do differently?
I will not be in power. I might be empowered, but I will not be in power. No.
Mr. Gordon, you served in public life. If you were in power today, what would you do differently?
I think the single most important thing that could be done right now is to work consistently to a plan to reduce the dependency which one encounters on every side. I don't think there is, and what I'm about to say now is perhaps a good thing, but I'm showing you there's a mixture. I don't think there's any other place in the world that shows every human tragedy, anything that happens to anybody, it's on television, and the worst, you hear everything that's happened. And that is what I meant, that's a good part, because that's a sense of caring, and that's good. But if you don't find a balance, and what you do is say to people, as soon as you have any difficulty, you come to the government and the government responds. No, it's finding a balance, because we had very little of that at one stage, at least very little in terms of how you responded to the incidents. But that has become a way of life. It is a way of life now that as soon as something is wrong, you go to the government. We have to take people out of that to say, I have responsibility for myself. If I can get help, I will work with them to get something done.
Are we a welfare state?
we have to find a new definition for welfare state. A welfare state is one that helps when it thinks that there's need. It's quite the reverse with us. I mean, You start, I heard one minister actually boast that a certain party took care of you from birth to grave. And this was a boast. Instead of equipping you for life, because this is what, to my mind, we need to do, equip people for life so that they can deal with the adversity. There's one thing you've got to be sure, adversity will always be there. And if you can't quite rely on yourself, if you can't find the initiative to deal with it, you're not equipped to face life.
Before I go to the break, Mr. Clark, one former principal of the University of the West Indies says we're on the path to a failed state or a failing state. Are we still on that path?
Surely we are surer on it now than ever. But I want to go back to the point about empower rather than in power and empowered. I think we need to reflect. We do not reflect sufficiently. We need to be still and really punish ourselves with serious criticism. Who are we and what we're about? People need to come to the fundamental understanding that we all have done not enough to bring this place forward.
Who are we, where are we, and what are we about? As we celebrate 50 years of independence, can you answer those questions? When we come back from this break, we will continue our discussion with Ken Gordon and Leroy Clark, two men who are being honored as amongst the list. They're in the 50 most influential personalities over the last 50 years. Stay with us.
Hiya guys, I am Felix, and welcome to Party Central. We have lots of great items for birthdays, baby showers, weddings, party themes, gift items, bachelorette, and so much more. Party Central. Let us be a part of your party. Visit us at www.partycentraltt.com.
Enjoy hassle-free shopping at South's premier beauty store, One Stop Beauty Essentials. They carry a wide range of leading brands and personal care products at reasonable prices, including cosmetics, fragrances, and everything for your nails and hair. 100% Remy, human and synthetic wigs, weaves, and braids are also available. Shop in comfort at One Stop Beauty Essentials, your one-stop beauty shop, conveniently located at 52 Sutton Street, San Fernando. Secure parking available. Like them on Facebook or call 652-0080. Baker Enterprises of Trin City and Abercrombie Street has a wide selection of newly designed independent supplies and party decorations. You can also find a wide range of locally inspired polos and souvenirs. Give us a visit at 79 Abercrombie Street or Trin City. Baker Enterprises Limited, the one preferred by customers. Japan Motors of Monroe Road, Charleville for quality imported roll-on roll-off cars. Subaru Impreza, Honda CR-V, Mazda 3, the new Hilux Vigo, Nissan Navara and Ford Wildtrak. 3 years warranty and accessories. Call 672-3000 or 672-6266. Chiropractor, failed. Massage, failed. Physiotherapy, failed. Surgery, failed. Pills, drugs, injections, failed. We succeed where others have failed. Harmonized Diffusion conquers pain. At Pain Relief and Health Management Limited, pay no money if we can't help you. Call 622-8085 or 628-8257 today for your free preview. Thousands attest Diffusion is the best. MK Production presents Trinidad versus the rest of the world at the Center of Excellence, Mokoya, on Saturday, September 15th from 7 p.m. Featuring live in concert, Dave and Radhika from India's Toki Bahu series, Sassy, exclusive from Holland, New York Music Machine, and our own Dilly Nadan and B-Mobile Shiv Shakti Dance Group. General admission $150, reserved $300, special reserved $400. Call us for VIP or VVIP information.
Professional boxing is back on Sunday, September 2nd at the Woodbrook Youth Facility. Keyshawn Walcott brought you Olympic gold. Now, come out and see Kurt Sinnett bring to the nation boxing gold as he takes on Joey Vegas out of Uganda for the WBC Light Heavyweight International title. Also fighting our very own Rio Ramnarai, Kevin Diaz, and MMA specialist Dwayne Hine. Gates open at 3 p.m. Tickets available at all Extra Foods, High-Low Food Stores, and Kenny's Sports Center.
This hurricane tip is brought to you by Target Cornby, Bob Insecticide, and Clean and White Bleach. Clear all clogged drains and gutters and obtain materials such as plywood to properly secure your home. Relive fond memories of the Treehouse at Driftwood Restaurant and Poolside Bar located at Tradewinds Hotel, San Fernando. Enjoy small buffet breakfast, a la carte lunch and dinner served daily. Sunday buffet breakfast. Wednesday, 2 meats poolside barbecue with live pan. Friday night entertainment. And Saturday nights, order our lobster dinner at half price. Dine outdoors, poolside, or enjoy AC dining indoors. Your wish is our command. Come and enjoy great ambience and have a good time. For reservations, call 376-0907 or 290-1305 through 8.
With all the reasons you already have to celebrate this independence, Richmond Motors has just added one more. Bring out the champagne, because now you can drive home with your very own BMW X1 or BMW 5 Series with no down payment and a whopping 6 years to repay. Plus, your BMW purchase comes with 2 years free full comprehensive insurance and 2 years warranty or unlimited mileage, whichever comes first. Now that's a real cause to celebrate. Offer valid while stocks last. Special conditions apply.
50 years of independence. Welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter at Hema_Ramke soon. I look forward to tweeting with you. Social media changing the way that we communicate. And if you're just joining us, quick update on our news. Minister in the Ministry of National Security, Colin Partap, has been dismissed. The Prime Minister made the decision and released a statement at 10:30 last night. We're now interesting development as we celebrate 50 years of independence, calling public officials to account for their actions, but trying to look at development, where we are going, really taking a look at ourselves. Joining us on set this morning, continuing our interview, Ken Gordon and Leroy Clark, two men who are featured on our 50 most influential personalities of the last 50 years. Mr. Gordon, now we're going to get a little more specific to the various roles that you've played in society. There's been a huge expansion of the media over the last 50 years, from one radio station, one frequency, one television station, an explosion. Every single, I think there's not even enough, no more dials. You can really go onto the radio. Has the expansion of media accomplished what was expected to?
It has certainly broadened the discussion. It has certainly expanded our democracy, but it has at the same time resulted in a sharp fall in standards, in terms of broadcasting standards. I think we have, certainly as far as radio is concerned. Television, not to the same extent, because television has never been looked at as a medium to get behind things, which it should be doing, but it hasn't done in Trinidad. But the radio, I'm particularly disturbed about the standards in radio. And I think it is a pity that people are allowed just to come in, I want to go on the air, and somebody says they can go on the air, and they go on the air. And because that's what shapes the standards of the people who are listening to them. And I think it has had a very deleterious effect on the quality of broadcasting.
Shaping the standards of our nation. Mr. Clark, the role of those in the cultural realm, those who are in the industry, let's look at painters, sculptors, like yourself, given a space to develop our country. One, has that space been given? And how have they really continued to ensure that their voices are heard?
As long as we continue to place the arts in a realm of simple entertainment, as if the people who work in those areas don't have to use their minds, that they don't have projects that project the society. As long as we treat them as a sideline, that group of people remain despairing and insulted.
Despairing and insulted, but yet we look at the explosion of ministries dealing with the arts. We have a Ministry of Arts and Multiculturalism, a Ministry of Social Integration, ministries that have been set up specifically to recognize.
We are people who love structures. The pixelated, our attitude to life is hiccuping. We love slogans, or we take concepts and make them slogans. But in terms of the meaningfulness of these things, you know, for example, talking to an engineering class once, I asked, why did you ask the students why they chose engineering? And nobody could answer it.
You make it seem as though we have nothing to smile about.
At this point, no, except the fact that those of us who have a little concentrated time, a little meditative time to understand that God is good to this place, we have immense potentiality, you know, but in terms of getting the right people in the fore to direct that humanity that we have here, we fail.
Where are the right people and why are they not in the fore?
Because for whatever reason, we are poisoned not to look in that direction. I mean, the very sitting down here and seeing so many ads in a program like this. By the time my friend here speak and you finish with those ads, people can't remember what you were saying. We are flooded by the pixelated mood of the space, the hiccups of the space. But in terms of settling down meditatively to deal with things, which would bring us closer to arting a space. You know, we just hustling. We become a hustling place. You may call it despairing, but probably despairing is a good place to be if we be honest about it and know that we have another choice. Because the flood, look at how much money we are spending on baubles and beads and so on. And we are not thinking about art. There's a big exhibition at the museum right now, at the National Museum. And if you went there, you'd see that the art that is there, with all the other stuff that is there, is the art that was produced 50 years ago, 60 years ago. I mean, it's just amazing that we really don't know our elbow from.
What do we have to celebrate? We have huge state celebrations being sponsored. The PNM, the UNC, everybody has put up red, white, and black, and I understand some yellow somewhere in the middle there.
No, let me hasten to say that if anything that I may have commented on sounded like despairing over our country, that is so far removed from the truth. I think we have been an immensely fortunate people. I think the quality of our people is tremendous. And I think there is so much, and perhaps this is why sometimes we get so very seriously peeved, because so much is possible. And I'm far from despair over our country. I just think a small item. My friend here referred a moment ago to the number of ads on the television station. This is easily controlled. You put that in the license that in an hour you don't carry more than so many minutes of advertising, and people have to conform to that. They find ways to spread the ads, and they get around it, instead of which you have this accumulation of advertising, which aggravates people, which makes the standards sort of seem silly.
Now you speak of standards. What are the greatest successes and failures? that we have witnessed as a people over the last 50 years?
You see, when you spring a question like that on me, the greatest successes we've had, I suppose it's been if you talk in economic terms, our management of the oil industry, I think that has been a great success. That has been very well conceived and well done. The greatest failure is easy, because I think I started by identifying that, and that's the dependency we have as a people on things around us. So those are the two quick things I'll identify.
Mr. Clark, our greatest success, our greatest failure?
Our greatest success is me.
And our greatest failure?
I continue to paint and believe, like a few others, that there is no other place in the world like Trinidad and Tobago. I really do believe that we have immense possibilities, but we have not found a pointer, that pointing energy that would define first the potential that we have and the direction in which we should go with such potential. So that Trinidad, it is such a quandary to sit here and feel sad in a place that should be very happy, but we have not worked hard enough to identify why we should be happy. So there's a lot of fun while, I mean, so many things are happening that really hurting. I mean, I sit here and I'm saying, Leroy, you're not really telling it all, you know. I don't, because we don't get enough time to be serious. You know, we don't get time to be serious, before we can really enjoy. We have to put in the work. There are good people in this country. They're really talented and well-meaning people. But because they don't belong to this or belong to that, those official groups that fill the political landscape, you don't hear about them. I meet them all the time. And that's where the despair is, that we have all of this, and yet we don't know what to do with it.
As we end this program, who would you identify as the most influential person over the last 50 years?
Father God, yes. I have to back out. God. No, very interesting, I may put a funny, you know, I would want to think probably Mr. Manning is, you know, why? Everybody is blaming him. So he has influenced everybody.
Interesting way to look at influence.
Good.
Mr. Gordon, I pose that question to you now.
In my view, unquestionably, Dr. Williams, because he set the frame which we have lived in and where we've paid a heavy price at some levels because of this same syndrome that I talk about. And he put that there when he needed to do it, but it has just never been modified, and it has been carried to a point of perfection where we are perfect at expecting somebody else to do it for us.
It's very interesting.
In terms of longevity, I would think A.N.R. Robinson, because in terms of the roles he has played over an extended period of time, I don't think any political figure has matched that. So those are the two I'd name.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. I am truly honored to have shared a set this morning with two men who I have considered to be two of the most influential personalities that have shaped our country over the last 50 years. I'm Hema Rankisoon. On behalf of everyone attached to the Early Morning Show, thank you so much for joining us today. As we close today's programs, we're going to share with our viewers two of the profiles of one with Mr. Gordon and Mr. Leroy Clark. Don't forget, you can vote for the personality that you think is most influential over the last 50 years.
Leroy Clark Clark staged his first one-man exhibition, A Labor of Love, when he was just 27 years old. Clark has showed his work around the world, participating in the biannual exhibition in Sao Paulo, Brazil in 1966 and Expo 67 in Montreal, Canada. Self-taught as an artist, he left for the United States in 1966 to further his experience in that field. He was the first artist in residence at the Studio Museum in Harlem from 1969 to 1975 and has since had numerous exhibitions throughout North and South America as well as in the Caribbean. Clark has been honoured by the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago. In 2003, he was named a national icon by the government of Trinidad and Tobago, was honoured as a distinguished guest of the President of Republic of Suriname for Carifesta 8, and named a national living treasure by the Trinidad Hilton. He was further distinguished by the National Association for the Empowerment of African People with the Achievement of Excellence Award. 2 years later, he was awarded a staff eldership and chieftaincy title in the Orisha community. Later in 2005, he would be made an honorary fellow of the University of Trinidad and Tobago. Leroy Clark is one of only 2 artists, the other being sculptor Dr. Ralph Bainey, who has been named Master Artist by the National Museum and Art Gallery in Trinidad and Tobago. The honor was granted in 1998.
The 50 most influential personalities since independence. We want your view via text on Facebook and online at 50tt.guardian.co.tt.
Radio Trinidad as a broadcast journalist in 1948. He would become the first local to be promoted to the position of program director. He then went to work at the Trinidad Chamber of Commerce as the general manager, and after 7 years he took up the position of managing director of the Trinidad Express newspaper. Under his leadership, the Express was transformed into the Caribbean Communications Network. As chairman and chief executive officer of CCN, Gordon played a key role in establishing indigenous, privately owned media in the region. He co-founded the Nation newspaper in Barbados, the Starbrook News in Guyana,